Hello, we're Team Moving Forward, and we're excited to be presenting today. The dairy sector contributes to 20% of Canada's livestock emissions, emphasizing the need for decarbonization. Our proposal targets Company A, a farmer owned global dairy cooperative with 3,000 members. Our industry comparable peer company B is a European sustainability leader that ranks in the top 20 for its adherence to best practices. Moving on, let's explore the issue. Milk production contributes to 1% of Canada's total GHG emissions, and 87% of Company's A emissions stem from Scope 3 sources, mainly milk and ingredient sourcing. Our focus is on reducing these upstream Scope 3 emissions specifically from on farm activities. This diagram here highlights the critical gaps in dairy processing, such as feed production, cropping, and manure handling, which are major contributors to GHG emissions today. Now, we recognize that Company A's cooperative structure is one of our biggest risks. Therefore, we've opted for a portfolio approach that aligns with Dairy Farmers of Canada's best practices to ensure industry relevance. Moving on to our solutions, we suggest implementing methane reducing feed additives like Bove, which cut livestock emissions by 30%. To drive adoption, we propose a shared value model which offers farmers $0.01 per kg of milk for meeting the said reduction targets. This will be supported by subsidies like Agricultural Clean Technology Program to enhance cost effectiveness. With an NPV of $200,000 to $219,000, this solution promises strong returns.
Our next recommendation is installing anaerobic digesters on dairy farms. Though requiring high capital investment, digesters could cut emissions by 15 to 20%, generate 200 megawatt hours of energy annually, and produce byproducts that can be used as an alternative fertilizer. Additionally, with the ongoing 20% natural gas shortage, these digesters can help mitigate energy supply risk by providing a local energy source. By using co-financing models through programs like Sustainable Cap, we can lower costs for the farmers. The solution has an NPV of 826 to $940,000, thereby offering strong economic returns.
A third recommendation is adopting regenerative agriculture practices such as cover crops, nodal farming, and crop rotation to restore soil health, enhance biodiversity, and capture carbon. This long term solution reduces CO2 emissions by 400 tons annually and sequesters 0.55 metric tons of carbon per acre. Scaling this requires strategic partnerships with NGOs and applying for grants like Canada's Agricultural Climate Solutions Program. With an NPV of 330 to 377,000, this approach offers strong returns as well.
As for implementation, we propose a three-step phased plan tailored to each recommendation. Starting with methane reducing feed, we'll begin with pilot programs on 10 to 20 farms, targeting a 30% methane reduction with farmer training and education. Success will lead to regional expansion through supplier partnerships and farmer incentives, aiming for nationwide adoption. As for anaerobic digesters, it'll begin with a feasibility study and pilot designs, followed by large-scale deployment supported through financial partnerships as well as system monitoring. As a long-term goal, farms will reduce emissions while creating economic opportunities through selling surplus biogas to the grid. Finally, regenerative agriculture with focus on farmer education and soil testing. Pilots will track carbon reductions, soil health, and biodiversity improvements, supported by ERP tools and farmer networks in order to drive adoption and certify carbon sequestration benefits. We recommend adjustments based on farm size to ensure equitable adoption. Small farms should target 80% adoption of short term solutions and consider shared digesters for medium solutions. Meanwhile, for large farms, 80% should adopt medium or long term solutions. Overall, we aim to achieve a 50% reduction in Scope 3 emissions by 2050. To measure impact, we propose a climate check program inspired by peer company B to help farmers benchmark performance using metrics like emission reductions and animal health. This will allow them to receive actionable insights for improvement.
Moving on to our stakeholder analysis, our approach to creating a just transition involves replacing unsustainable farming and high emission practices with sustainable farming, employee upskilling, community collaborations, and climate goals alignment. Next up, let's look at our risks. Regulatory compliance emerges as the most critical one, driven by potential policy shifts after Trudeau's resignation. Measures such as proactive lobbying can help mitigate this and help Company A align with changing regulations. In conclusion, we believe that to drive value creation, Company A should form strategic partnerships, implement pilot programs, and deliver targeted training and support for farmers as detailed in our presentation. Thank you.